I'm Joni Patry, and welcome to my YouTube channel. Well, today I want to talk about Venus going retrograde this year. You see, Venus goes retrograde the least amount of time than any of the planets. But it is such an amazing period because Venus, remember, rules love, romance, attraction. And these are the things that most people are searching for and needing in this life, needing to find that partner, finding love. Venus has that ability to give love. Plus, looking at Venus in a birth chart definitely will reveal the kind of love you're looking for, the kind of person you're attracted to, and it will even represent your spouse. Even in a woman's chart, Venus represents the type of love that you need. And I have noticed that when Venus is retrograde natally in a birth chart, that many times it deals with the fact that the individual never feels like they get the love that they need, the attention. It works like that because whenever a planet is retrograde, for the most part, it represents a karma, something that's incomplete from a past life, something that never came to realization, but you've come to this life to realize it, to heal those past karmas. So retrograde planets in a chart can represent some kind of missing element with whatever that planet's about. Something is not complete. And Venus rules love. But when Venus goes retrograde, it is an amazing planet to take note of. And the reason why I'm bringing up this Venus retrograde right now is because it is about to enter into the sign that it is going to be retrograde. Venus is going to enter into the sign of Taurus March 28th, this year, 2020. And it will continue to stay in this sign till July 31st. That is a long time because when you see a planet goes retrograde, it's going to go back. And then when it's just traveling along initially. And then when it stops to go retrograde, then it goes back. And then it stops before it goes direct, then it goes forward. So you see there's really like 1, 2, 3 times that it crosses over the same area in a chart. All in the sign of Taurus. Now this is going to be fantastic because Taurus is the sign of love and romance, and Venus rules Taurus. It's also the sign of money, finances, wealth. Put Venus in Taurus and you get wealth, and you get money, and you get love. So I thought this would be just the right time to talk about when Venus is going to enter into this spectacular sign where it picks up so much strength. And here's another thing you might want to know about Venus. When it goes retrograde, it brings back old feelings of love and connections. So Venus, being in Taurus, could actually bring back an old flame. But it's not just that it's in Taurus, it makes it extraordinarily strong by the fact that it's in Taurus, but that it's going retrograde. See, retrograde brings back things from the past. It's going backwards and capturing old feelings, people from the past too. So what exactly is the sign Taurus all about? And let me remind everyone, I am talking about Vedic sidereal astrology, not tropical Western. It's going to be in Taurus while it's retrograde. And it falls backwards from the sign that it is in tropical Western. But let me say this, when a planet goes retrograde, it doesn't matter if you're looking at the sidereal or tropical system because they go retrograde at the same time. It's just that they're in different placements in the zodiac. And this is the true placements astronomically using the sidereal method. But talking about Taurus, Taurus is that sign. It deals with money, finances, but it deals with beauty, art, color, design, sensitivity to all the senses, whether it be taste, sensuality, and dealing with quality. People that have strong Taurus emphasis in their chart, they know luxury, they know quality, they love the luxuries of life. And they love the sensualities. So Venus being in Taurus will bring this up. An appreciation for the arts, such as painting, drawing, sculpture, anything doing with writing, creativity. This is all what's going to take charge while Venus stays in this long duration in the sign of Taurus. Now, Venus generally, in its process of transiting, stays in a sign approximately for 1 month. So it's quite unusual for Venus to be in a sign for almost 4 months, a little over 4 months. That's remarkable. Now, Venus, as I said before, it goes retrograde the least out of all the planets. It only goes retrograde about every 18 months. And it stays retrograde for approximately 42 days. So the time that it will actually turn retrograde will be May 13th. It turns retrograde at 27 degrees of Taurus. And then by June 25th, it'll turn direct at 11 degrees of Taurus. So let me repeat this again. Those degree markings, 27 and 11 degrees of Taurus. If you have any planets on those degrees, Venus will activate those degrees powerfully, extraordinarily. And this could bring you money, love, or affection. Venus on these degrees activated. And Venus loves to be in the sign of Taurus. This could be one of the variables that helps bring the economy back when Venus goes into Taurus, but especially from the time that it turns direct, and it is more powerful after that date of June 25th. So once again, it turns retrograde on May 13th and direct on June 25th. But it will remain in the sign of Taurus from the dates of March 28th through July 31st. Now, one thing about Venus, as it goes through this sign, let me just say, whatever house it's in your chart is going to be activated. If Venus is retrograde in the 7th house, that means it's in Taurus in your 7th house. This means you have a Scorpio ascendant. Then this will mean that an old love will come back. Something about the past. And it will be that relationships, the way you relate, you will learn more about how to relate and to heal and work better in harmony in a relationship. Just don't let old loves destroy your current loves with Venus going retrograde in your 7th house. Now, if you do have a Taurus ascendant, Venus is in your 1st house. You'll find that you feel more attractive, more sensual, and maybe you may even attract suitors because Venus being in your 1st house is casting its light to the 7th house. If you have a Gemini ascendant or your moon in Gemini, then this means that the Venus retrograde is going on in your 12th house. And this means you'll probably have dreams about past loves and relationships. Things of the past will occur. And probably you'll have a lot more dreams about people that have been gone, that have since passed in your life. Pay attention, there's an important message for you. So if you have your moon in Cancer or an ascendant rising in Cancer, then this means that the Venus retrograde is in your 11th house, which can mean that friends can come back from the past. And it also means that deep relationships that you once had with friends will resurge, or even those feelings, and even new friendships will come during this time that we have Venus transiting through your 11th house. So if you have a Leo ascendant or moon, then that means that this Venus retrograde will be going on in your 10th house, and that's powerful. So good things will be happening at the work. You will get lots of recognition, and probably from events and things that you have accomplished in the past. If you have a Virgo ascendant or moon, then this means that this Venus retrograde is occurring in your 9th house. And that would particularly mean that you could go on some very romantic cruises or trips to faraway places, and you're learning so much more than you ever have before. And maybe there's a reawakening with you and your father, and even good memories of him if he's no longer here. Now, if you have your moon or your ascendant in Libra, then this means that you have the Venus retrograde happening in your 8th house, which this can mean definitely that people from the past are trying to reconnect with you, maybe through dreams, maybe through messages and signs. Pay attention. But another thing is you may find out some very interesting things about your lost or past loves. This is always going to be about connection to old lovers. If you have a moon or a rising in the sign of Scorpio, realize that this Venus retrograde is going to affect you in such a way that it doesn't affect everyone. It's about relationships. Just as I started out with this, that this is going to be in your 7th house, which represents passion and love and relationships. So it could bring back an old flame. Now, if your moon or your ascendant is in Sagittarius, then this means that this Venus retrograde is occurring in your 6th house. Yes, because the 6th house deals with the people you work with. It also deals with pets. It could be the time that you could adopt that perfect pet that reminds you of one of your previous pets. It's a time to take charge with this, but realize that you could even meet someone or reconnect with an old relationship in your workplace. So if your moon or your ascendant's in Capricorn, realize that this Venus retrograde will affect you in terms of your creativity. Your creative ideas will be off the charts. It's time to write that book, get enrolled in those art classes, anything that warms your heart and soul and develops your creative talents. It's time to go back to that. Plus, this is a time of romance. Remember, the 5th house rules the heart. So if your ascendant or your moon is in Aquarius, then this means that this Venus retrograde is happening in your 4th house. You will probably end up redecorating or doing some things to beautify your home. Make it pleasing to the eye. Make it a comfortable place where you want to spend more of your time. Make it a place of luxury, design. And it can be, as long as Venus is not retrograde, once it goes direct, after June 25th, you could be looking at buying a car. If your ascendant or your moon is in Pisces, then that means that this Venus retrograde is happening in your 3rd house. And the 3rd house deals specifically with learning, writing, connecting to people, communications. You have a beautiful, unusual way of doing so. And it'd be time to start writing those articles, books, or blogs. Connect to people through your creative expression. That's what Venus in Taurus will do for you. Now, if your ascendant or moon are in Aries, that means that this Venus retrograde's happening in your second house. It's a great time for you to invest. Invest in stocks or anything that you've been wanting to. Put your money where your mouth is. And remember what you speak. You speak the truth. And the way that you speak, you will have so many people paying attention to you because the words flow out in such a beautiful manner that you will connect. It's a time for you to take up speaking, addressing people, because your voice will be well heard. So that pretty much covers all the signs and what I suspect will begin to be happening with this exciting and beautiful Venus retrograde. Remember, retrogrades are a time to reassess, reanalyze, and regroup. So reflect on what this could all mean for you during this time. So with that, I'd like to close. If you would like more information on me or my university, you can first of all go to my website, which is galacticcenter.org, and don't forget to sign up for my free newsletter. And if you would like to study Vedic astrology, go to my university website, which is University of Vedic Astrology.com. Thank you.